This is the March book tracker page putter together video that I'm gonna do. Made up that word. I'm gonna be doing these books, and I am going to follow the same format as February and do a page, just one side for each book. I did a full spread for this. I will link to that video below, but that is the Paper Girls. And then at the end of the month, I read Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So that will be its own spread, obviously. I loved that book, the comic book. First spread for March. And once again, I used a mix of Feed Your Craft and a Creative Bubble and a little bit of Kellie Stamps. So these are the books. This one I did a little bit bigger, and this one I did a little bit smaller. A long saga from the beginning, literally the conception of this man till his death. So you were deep in the trenches of his life. I actually took a break from this book to read this one, just so I could get a break from being in the trenches. So, and then this is a creative, in a Creative Bubble card that I just turned on its side, and I think I recolored it. This is Feed Your Craft, I think. And then this one I just made a photo mat from the cover. And then I have a few extra little embellishments up here, and then this one should come together pretty quick. So let's get started. So I'm going to start assembling my pages, and I've kind of been following the formula of 1 layer or 2 layers, usually a journaling card, and then the book. So it's 1 layer and then the book cover. It's an easy formula, and so far it's made me successful in kind of keeping up with this project. And so now I'm doing it to the right side, and then I will have both sides assembled as far as the layers. And also when I'm deciding what colors to use, I of course use the book cover and my eyedropper tool in Photoshop Elements. And then I also took a few digital stamps from Kellie Stamps and Feed Your Craft and put those on white, and then that way I could use them as embellishments. So I have one that says currently reading, that's Feed Your Craft, and then the Do Not Disturb is also Feed Your Craft. I also am looking through my Colorcast Designs book-themed basket, and I found a few pieces there. I loved including that today, yesterday, and tomorrow little label that I made, because the book was really all about his life, like I said earlier, from the time he was conceived till he died. And I've also noticed that when I read books that take place in Ireland, which that book did, The Heart's Invisible Furies, they're very heavy, and I take a lot of time to read them. I guess just because the subject matter of Ireland is just heavy for me, reading about it, the history about it. I found that with many books reading about Ireland. So I'm just using those fun asterisk shapes and stars and hearts and leaves to decorate my page. Of course, those are Colorcast Designs. That's my go-to. So I'm just putting those on. I love those things. They're the perfect decoration piece. And then I will be wrapping up this page. Also wanted to mention that the arrows are Kellie Stamps, which are on the right side. And then read is, I believe, Feed Your Craft. Life is an Adventure is Kellie Stamps. I just used several stamps on the right side to create more visual interest. So there we go. This one is done using my layers and my Colorcast Designs embellishments. I was able to put this one together pretty quick. So now I can move on to the next book spread. Hey everyone, so this is the next spread in my book tracker. The book covers were kind of tripping me up, I guess you would say, because they were such different colors. It was, I mean, you can see the teal, and then his hair, the character had red hair, and it was just interesting. So what I decided to do is I didn't use my Feed Your Craft stuff. I decided to take some In a Creative Bubble cards, and I kind of made my own. I don't know if you can see, but there is a pattern, and I made this pattern by taking an In a Creative Bubble and putting it over, clipping it to it in Photoshop Elements, and then putting a different overlay over it. And I did that for this one too, and then this one. Let's get started on putting this one together. And just in case you're wondering, the reason that some of these cards that I made look like they are a little messed up, it's because I knew something was going to cover it, so it's okay. Like the blue one has a big chunk on the right side of the card that you can see, so that's why they look a little funny maybe to you, but I know it's going to be covered up by something. And this spread turned out to not be my favorite, but that's just because the book covers were hard colors to work with. And like I said before in a video, I tried walking away from this spread and coming up with something else, but I couldn't, and I just wanted to move forward. So I layered down my different pieces. I tried looking for some wood veneer that might work, but I wasn't sure what would. So I got out a bunch of stars. I took off the Colorcast Designs, and I just decided to go with some stars. The books are both about hockey players finding love, and the characters are all hockey players actually. And so I just decided to just go with stars. And then a currently Colorcast design with a star in it. And just put those down, and then I can wrap up the spread and move on, because it doesn't need to be perfect, and I don't need to love every single book spread that I make. Adding the final little touches like that wood veneer piece with a star. I only tear off the portion that I need to stick, and then the rest will just stick up like a real tab. So this one is done, and now I can move on to the next spread. Like I said earlier, not my favorite, but I am glad this set of books is documented. All right, here is another book spread, The Perfect Nanny and The Beautiful Bastard. Did not like that book, only read it because of my book club. I would give it a 3 out of 5, maybe. This one is A Beautiful Bastard. It is my 3rd or 4th book from this duo, which is Christina Lauren. Definitely, I can't adult today when I'm reading one of her books. I just can't, because I just devour them. So let's get started on putting this spread together. So here we go on putting these books together. I once again made my own pattern within a creative bubble, and then I could not find a good picture, good resolution of The Perfect Nanny, but I found one with a white border around it. I decided to just change that from white to the color of the dress, and that way that'll work. I also printed out 2 little embellishments of exclamation points, because I was just like, this book was bananas, like crazy nuts. Nuts, not in a good way. And then the next book I had to pick was a favorite genre of mine, romance, new adult, contemporary, I guess, Beautiful Bastard. And so I'm just layering on some cards, and you can see I only printed the pieces that I actually need. So I went with red and black from the cover. I used my last red heart from Ellie's Studio, and my last black star too. I was trying to figure out, should I cluster them together or should I spread them out? And that's what I decided, to spread them out. I also used a phrase, yes, for the Beautiful Bastard book. And I am just adding in a few other embellishments, and I'm also going to add some enamel dots to the Perfect Nanny side. And I'm just putting down that row of exclamation points, because wow, that book. Not what I was expecting. So just putting those down, and then I'm going to move on to finding some enamel dots that match the colors. I'm not sure if these enamel dots worked, but it was the embellishment that I picked. Because I didn't know what to stamp. I thought about stamping some phrases, but I'd already done so much digital stamping that I felt that it needed something physical. So that's why I went with enamel dots. So there we go. This one is finished. All right, there we go. This one is done. Kept it pretty simple. Didn't embellish much. I had really long reviews, which is fine. So I just kept it simple. So now this one's done. Now I'm moving on to the last review for March. right, this is my last spread for March, and I'm so excited to put this one together. I will tell you honestly, I was really scared to watch the series on Netflix because I was afraid of the gore. Come to find out, this, I would say, for me, the graphic novel was much more graphic and gory and had more horror than the actual Netflix series. But I still loved this. I thought this was a brilliant graphic novel. I absolutely loved it. And I kind of found myself reading it slower so that way I could savor it. And I'm going to continue on with volume 2 soon. But I loved this. And I loved this Netflix series too. It's just they're a little bit different. So I put this together in Photoshop Elements with different shapes. That's what the branches are and the splatters. And I just built it around there, and I found these images, and then I pulled out some Colorcast Designs pieces, and I used some Kellie Stamps, and this is a Feed Your Craft card, just a little mix of everything. So I'm excited. Like I said, let's put this together. So I'm going to start with that journaling card that I put over both sides of the spread. It's a 4x6, and I actually printed and left that layer on. That way I could know where to place the journaling card. It's always tricky for me to line it up, but I think I got it. And now I'm going to put down the book cover. I really wanted to get rid of that yellow in the title and the bottom. Just to me, call me silly, but red, black, and yellow makes me think of Disney. So for whatever reason, I just didn't want that yellow in there, but I couldn't recolor it, so I just stuck with it, and I tried to go more with the dark reds and the dark black. So I'm just adding my little clustered sections, and I was thinking about adding that large veneer with the hat, but I felt it took away from the cover, and it just took away from my overall spread, I guess. So I decided to go with a cat instead. And I also have devouring, which is next to the image of Sabrina and Harvey. And I also sprinkled some stars and some asterisks. And I put down that image of Sabrina inside a skull. And I'm adding, I cast a spell on you and currently reading. And now I'm going to put down the image of Harvey and Sabrina. And then also a little sentiment that says couldn't put this down, and a right now tab along with a hat. These were Colorcast Design releases right around Halloween time. So more sprinkling of acrylics, which is a favorite thing I love to do. And there is the devouring. I felt that that was totally appropriate considering this was a gory, witchy series, and I was devouring the book, loving it. In a good way, not devouring in a bad way. Now I'm adding that cat, and I'm really enjoying putting this spread together and coming up with something spooky that matches the overall theme of the book. So there we go, just gluing, and then I am almost done with this spread. All right, there we go. March is now done in my book tracker. Thrilled that I'm staying pretty caught up with this project. So let me show you the start of March. The opening of March with the recap, Paper Girls, Breathing Lies, The Heart's Invisible Furies, The Year We Fell Down, and The Year We Hid Away, The Perfect Nanny, Beautiful Bastard, and The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Yay! I love this project. I'm glad I decided to switch from 6x8 to Traveler's Notebook. I'm having a lot of fun with this. So I hope you've enjoyed watching my process videos for putting together my March book tracker pages. I hope it inspires you to document your books and what you're reading. I'd love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you're new to my channel. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.